Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Today we're going to talk about one of the most well-known cults in America in the 20th century, known as Heaven's Gate. One of the reasons this cult is so famous is because they are one of the first cults to use the internet as a tool. And for those of you who don't know what a cult is, a good simple definition of a cult is a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or even sinister. So anyway, let's talk about this cult. Let's talk about the cult leader and the strange things they believed in. So this is known as Heaven's Gate. 25 years after their mass suicide made headlines across the world, Heaven's Gate is still one of the most notorious cults of the 20th century, not to mention one of the most recognizable. In March 1997, America was shook by the strange story that included a mass suicide, wild public access style videos, an obsession with UFOs, and in true late 90s fashion, tracksuits and matching Nikes. They also had a new recruitment tool, the internet. Heaven's Gate had the distinction of being the first well-known American cult of the internet era, using the new technology to share their beliefs with a wider audience and also to make a living. They derived a large portion of their income from designing web pages. Formed in the 70s, they had become reclusive by the start of the 1990s and started attempting to recruit members online using the organizational name Higher Source for the website. Through the web would eventually become central in the organization. The group's origins were much more grassroots in the early 1970s. Founder Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettle, a Texas music teacher and nurse that he met during a stay in a psychiatric institution, renamed themselves Bo and Peep and took a 6-month-long road trip across the United States. Around 1974, they assembled a group called The Crew. For the next 2 decades, they lived all around Southern California. Though Nettles died in 1985, Applewhite kept the group together, and when the internet was introduced to consumers in the early 1990s, they began using the new technology to share their beliefs with a wider audience. The reclusive group also used it to make a living, deriving a large portion of their income from designing web pages. Now let's talk about the cult's philosophies and beliefs. The cult's philosophy took its roots from Applewhite's Presbyterian upbringing. His father was a minister and essentially grafted belief in extraterrestrials onto Christian theology. Applewhite told his acolytes that he was the second coming of Jesus Christ, that God was an alien, and that they were living in the end times. They read the Bible, especially Revelations chapter 11 in the New Testament, a section about 2 witnesses that would prophesy. At the end of their prophecy, they would have to battle demons, which Applewhite and Nettles called the Luciferians. But then in late March 1997, 39 members, including Applewhite, wearing black tracksuits and sneakers, ate applesauce that was laced with poison and washed it down with vodka. They then put bags over their heads, purple shrouds over their bodies, and lay down to leave their earthly vehicles behind. They weren't killing themselves, they thought, but freeing their souls from their bodies so they can ascend to a spacecraft flying in the wake of the Hale-Bopp comet, which at that point was passing by Earth and were going to be taken to their new home in space. Instead, police found their bodies on March 26th, and the images of the white and black Nikes poking out from under a purple cloth would be burned into the eyes of a generation. The cult borrowed a lot of imagery from science fiction. Applewhite and Nettles were huge fans of Star Wars and the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and also Star Trek. Their suicides took place over the course of 3 days. The 39 dead members of the cult were found on Wednesday, March 26, 1997. Coroner's reports show that the suicides were far more simultaneous. The members killed themselves starting Sunday using a combination of different kinds of drugs, probably consumed with applesauce or pudding. The members then put plastic bags over their heads and suffocated to death, after which they were covered in shrouds. Applewhite was a late death, but not the last to die. Part of Heaven's Gate dogma was that everything had to be precisely the same. Everything was designed to be an exact duplicate. Surviving member Michael Conyers later said, "You were not to come up with, well, I'm going to make the pancake this big. There was a mixture, a size, how long you cooked it, one side, how much the burner was on, how many a person got, how the syrup was poured on it, everything." Conyers said that even male members shaved their faces a specific way. This is a common tactic for cults. If a leader wants to convince members to do something as an extreme, such as committing suicide, they have to replace their entire belief structure with the belief structure of the cult, a process called indoctrination. Cults say that you have to break out of your Western mentality. David Sullivan, a private investigator specializing in cults deprogramming, told Harper's, "You're too judgmental. You have to abandon your whole psychological intellectual framework. Your obsessive materialism is blocking you from seeing the truth." According to cult leader Marshall Applewhite, he said that the next level was a place without gender, and that led him to castration. The cult went out for a Last Supper together. Though Heaven's Gate members were cut off from their families and friends, they were far from totally reclusive. Their final meal together was a big group diner that took place at a chain that they frequented near their compound in Rancho Santa Fe, California. A week ago Friday, just before their suicides, a day or so before enacting their malicious planned suicide, the cult went out for a Last Supper together. The Mary's Calendar restaurant in Carlsbad. The BBC wrote this: they all ordered the exact same thing. A waiter recalled to the paper. It was set up before they came in. They all had iced teas to drink, dinner salads beforehand with tomato vinegar dressing, turkey pot pie for entree, cheesecake and blueberries on top for dessert. They seemed very nice, very friendly, very polite. No one seemed depressed at all or anything like that. And another interesting fact is their website is still up today. 2 surviving members likely still operate the cult's website today. One of the ways that Heaven's Gate paid the bills was with a website group called Higher Source. Their website is still online. This is during the internet era. It's still up. So yeah, this is what their website says on the front page. Whether Hale-Bopp has a companion or not is irrelevant from our perspective. However, its arrival is joyously very significant to us at Heaven's Gate. The joy is that our older members in the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of heaven, has made it clear to us that Hale-Bopp approach is the marker we've been waiting for, the time for the arrival of the spacecraft from the level above humans to take us home to their world. In literal heavens, our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to conclusion. Graduation from the humanary evolutionary level, we are happily prepared to leave this world and go with the TI crew. It says, if you study the material on this website, you will hopefully understand our joy and what our purpose here on Earth has been. You may even find your boarding pass, no thank you, to leave with us during this brief window. We are so very thankful that we have receipts of this opportunity to prepare for membership in their kingdom and to experience their boundless caring and nurturing. So yeah, Marshall Applewhite was a very famous cult leader, had a lot of strange beliefs, had apparent visions from extraterrestrials, which in my view are actually demonic entities. And as many cult members, they are very good in psychology. They can read people. And Marshall Applewhite would often go after very broken people, very vulnerable people. So yeah, very tragic, very sad stuff. But yeah, it goes to show that fact is way, way stranger than fiction at times. Yeah, Marshall Applewhite claimed to be Jesus reincarnated, and he also claimed that God was an alien, and that there was a spaceship waiting for them to take their souls up to another world. And I found something very interesting about all this. If you click this link, it's called How a Member of the Kingdom of Heaven Might Appear. This picture pops up right here of an alien gray. And it's very interesting that Marshall Applewhite says that this is what the new members of the Kingdom of Heaven will look like with these new bodies, this alien gray type look. And what's very interesting, if you guys have seen my video on aliens in the Bible, I discussed that what we see as alien grays, or that idea, it actually comes from experiences with real demonic entities. Like, did you guys know that according to a study, taking DMT can lead to experiences that are similar to those reported by people who claim to have been abducted by aliens? So according to the study, demonic possession, abduction by alien experiences, and entity encounters on DMT are all extremely similar. And one of the entities they encounter is this alien gray type look. So yeah, I think Marshall Applewhite, the leader of this cult, truly believed what he was saying. And I think he might have even had visions from these demonic entities.
The most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us. Planet Earth about to be recycled. Your only chance to survive or evacuate is to leave with us.
And that's how he was able to hypnotize and influence very broken, vulnerable people into following such strange beliefs and committing something so extreme as taking your own life, so that your soul can apparently be taken to a spaceship to another world where you look like an alien gray in these new bodies.
Since I've been in the class, I've learned the answers to all of those.
And couldn't be happy about what we're about to do.
Again, it is very sad, very awful what happened to these vulnerable, broken people. And it just goes to show why we should be careful about who we trust and why we need to look at things through a biblical filter all the time. That includes Christian denominations, because there are 40,000 Christian organizations, right, denominations. And I'd be very careful putting your full trust in that. So again, look at everything through a biblical filter to guard yourself. Put on the whole armor of God, as the Bible says. But yeah, guys, I hope you found this interesting and fascinating. Again, goes to show that fact is way stranger than fiction. A lot of weird stuff happening. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like to support this channel, I do have a Patreon. Let me know all your honest thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Till next time, thank you.